Hello and welcome back. Sorry about the delay from last week. We never ended up posting one. Totally forgot about it, so sorry about that. Anyway, today's photo comes from yet another Photo Basics student. You guys are rocking it. Good job. This comes from Tegan. She's one of our. She's in our 7:30 class, and wow, awesome, awesome, awesome. So the photo assignment for this week was to do leading lines, and I think this was this week's assignment, either that or interrupted pattern, but basically it's got both. So there's a couple things going on here. First, you've got this pattern of wood thingies that are interrupted by this guy, the focal point, which is awesome. You also got these that are just kind of leading lines directing your eye to him. You've got him in the third. In fact, I'm in Lightroom in this program, so let me show you how that looks if I can. Let's see. I don't even know if I remember how to do it. Oh, wow, that got big. Okay. So, yeah, this right here is my PowerPoint, my intersection of the third. Look where it falls. That is awesome, awesome. Cool. So, good job. Way to totally rock it with that. The other thing that's going on is we've got him being framed inside of a box. Okay, one thing that we don't go into much in Photo Basics, which is a really cool element of photography, is something that we call framing. And basically what that is finding natural frames in nature and whatever you're doing that basically boxes your focal point in. So, you know, if you go to a house and you see frames, the idea behind a frame is that it draws attention to the picture. And same thing with a frame in a photo is that by enclosing your subject, you are essentially drawing attention to the focal point, which is really cool. The other thing that Marion pointed out yesterday, and she is either a current math teacher or former math teacher, I can't remember, but one thing that she pointed out is that this is a parallelogram, and I thought that was pretty cool that she pointed that out. But it does illustrate a point that anytime you can find, recognize, or anytime that you can kind of illustrate or pinpoint recognizable shapes in a photo, it kind of our not eyes are naturally drawn to it. So if you could find some way to make a heart or some way to make a square, or even in this example, a parallelogram, that's pretty cool. So good job on that. I mean, design-wise, this is very, very successful. The other thing that we talk about a lot is creating contrast in some way. You don't have contrast in depth of field, which typically you do have most photos have some sort of contrast to depth of field, but this one doesn't. Notice how he's just as in focus as the background, which can be a little risky, but because you've got so many things drawing attention to him, it's really not a problem at all. In fact, I would prefer it not to have contrast of depth of field because basically it's impossible to do that because he's level with everything else. But there's other ways that you're drawing attention to the focal point, most of which we've talked about, the interrupted pattern, the leading lines, the framing. But also what we've got is we've created contrast of color and contrast of brightness. So notice how this right here is red and it's fairly dark by comparison, whereas this is all kind of whites and skin tones and lighter. So your eye immediately goes here because of the contrast that it has with the rest of the background. So very, very cool stuff. The one thing that I would recommend is it's a little, well, zoom back out, it's a little tilted. I'm actually kind of doing something risky here because I haven't done this before I started this video, but I'm just gonna rotate the frame just a little bit, kind of line up the horizon and see if I end up liking that better. I figured this might happen. It's kind of cool because it lines up with these lines, but it doesn't quite line up with this parallelogram part. It does line up with the windows, and you're cropping off the top a little bit. So I don't know if it's better or not. It is a little bit easier for the eye to look at something, but I guess my point that I want to make, let's see, let me undo. Oh yeah, oops. Yeah, going back and forth. I don't know. I guess what I really need to say here is that if you're going to tilt the frame a little bit, if you're going to be a little off center, don't be a little off center, you be a lot off center. So either really tilt it so you're totally not obeying the rules, or not tilt it so much. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, it kind of gives it some forward motion by having it tilt up, almost like he's in a boat and driving through a wake or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I'd have to play around with it and see different compositions. But overall, it's an awesome, awesome photo. Love it. Very, very good. Very good application of some awesome design principles. So, very good, Tegan. I'm proud of you. I'm very impressed with this. Good job.